Hey guys, it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel. I am doing a prayer and gratitude journaling spread for you guys today, and I am actually moving into a traveler's notebook for my prayer and gratitude journals. So I've been using, you guys are familiar with my recollections planner that I've been using. I feel like it's time for a change. I feel like it's time for something new. So I bought these inserts from Hobby Lobby. They're from, is it Illustrated Faith? Yeah, they're at Illustrated Faith inserts, and two of them came in a pack, and I got them on sale. Actually, I think they were maybe like $3, $2 or $3. I can't remember, but they were fairly cheap, and so I picked them up. And so yeah, I want to move more into traveler's notebooks. I feel like I'm slowly like falling in love with the idea of traveler's notebooks. And so yeah, I want to have like a separate, I'm using one for my memory keeping, but I want to use one for my prayer and gratitude journal too. So right now I am doing my title. I want to focus on Lent and give a little shout out to Ash Wednesday too for this spread. But y'all, I don't know why y'all continue to let me use these alpha stickers for recollections. I struggle every single time. So let me tell y'all what happened. I wanted to use these stickers and I didn't have an N. It only came with two N's in this particular font of those stickers, and I've used those two ends. I don't know where I've used those two ends, probably in some Project Life spread, but I don't have any more ends left. So I took a Z, I thought about it and I was like, oh, I can just take a Z and just turn it sideways and that can be my end. And in my head, it sounded so much better. It sounded so good. Like, it was a great idea in my head. And then when I put it on the paper, I was like, nah, this wasn't a good idea. Cause it looks like a Z turned sideways. It doesn't look like an N, but it's fine. It's fine. I really got frustrated, and I didn't know what to do at this point because, it was, Michael's was closed at this point. So I couldn't go back to the store and buy another sticker book. And I didn't know what to do. So I just left the end like that. So I might change it in the future, sometime in the near future. I might actually make that an N just for my sake and for my sanity. But for now, it's just gonna stay that sideways Z, and we're just gonna roll with that. But I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I don't like how that looks. I don't like how that N looks on Lent. But yeah, I decided to also take these stickers and put down Ash Wednesday. And I end up, I'm gonna cut all this out in a second because, I didn't know what to do with this. I just didn't know how to make these look how I wanted them to look. They just didn't look visually appealing to me. So, yeah. And then I realized I didn't have any color on this spread. So I was like, oh, color might be important. So I took up, I put all those stickers up and put some washi tape underneath. So that's how and that looks even worse. That end looks even worse. I'm getting frustrated just looking back at this spread. But whatever y'all. So so I also took that Ash Wednesday and made it vertical down this page versus horizontal like I had it. So what I'm gonna do is just throw a couple of little blurbs and facts about Ash Wednesday, and let me tell you guys where this came from my perspective. So what I want to start doing with my prayer and gratitude journaling spreads is, not only do I want to talk about prayer and gratitude, but I also want to throw in some notes into my prayer and gratitude journal about all these random words and phrases and all these buzzwords that you hear in church and you have an idea of what they mean, but you don't really have an idea of what they mean. So Ash Wednesday is one of those things that in my 20 something years of going to church and being a Christian, I have heard Ash Wednesday at least once a year, but it's one of those things that I don't really know the importance of it and the significance of it. So what I wanted to do was do some research and figure out what exactly it is, because every time it comes up every year, I'm like, oh, it's Ash Wednesday. And then I don't really, it's like, okay, I'm supposed to go to church, but why? So I decided to do some research on it, and I wrote down just a couple of sentences about it. So I wrote down that Ash Wednesday actually marks the first day of Lent, and I wrote down a scripture, and that scripture comes from Genesis chapter 3 verse 19, and it says, remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return. And basically that's the gist of Ash Wednesday. That's why we celebrate Ash Wednesday, is because of that particular scripture. And that's actually what, in the Catholic Church, I know that's actually what they say to you when they put the ashes on your forehead on Ash Wednesday. But basically it's a lesson in humility. It teaches us humility. It teaches us that we as men are mortal. We aren't going to live forever. We aren't everlasting. There's only one everlasting God. And yeah, it's a lesson in humility. That's pretty much the gist of Ash Wednesday. And Ash Wednesday, like I said, kicks off Lent. So I also put down that that clear sticker from the Faith Value Pack sticker book that says, this is the day that the Lord has made, rejoice. And I'm also just writing down that Lent is a time of reflection and penitence leading up to Easter Sunday. And so that's pretty much all I wanted to throw on there about Ash Wednesday. I didn't want to do a spread about Lent and not talk about Ash Wednesday. So yeah, so that's what that other side of the page looks like. So I'm going to move on to Lent itself, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do like a part 2 because I want to dive a little bit more in depth with this. But just as a quick introduction, I'm writing down the scripture from Matthew chapter 4 verse 4 that says, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. And that actually comes from when Jesus was fasting for 40 days, and fasting as in he wasn't eating anything at all. And so the scripture actually says he was hungry. So, and it says that in verse 2, I believe, but verse 2. And so what ends up happening is Satan comes and tempts Jesus and says, if you're the Son of God, there were some stones on the ground when he was talking to him. And he said, if you're the Son of God, just take these stones and turn them into bread and eat them. You're hungry. You're the Son of God. You can easily just eat. And that's when Jesus responded with this scripture that I wrote down in Matthew chapter 4, verse 4. And basically it's important because Jesus is saying that, my physical hunger doesn't equate to like the actual importance of fasting. And I think that's what we all need to remember when we fast during Lent, is that we need to understand the why. The why of fasting is to develop a relationship with God and make sure that you're being in tune with God and reflecting on his word. So it's not so much about the physical of what you're doing, it's about the thought process. If you honestly think about fasting is all in your head. Like it's kind of like a mind game, to be honest. Like, because I fasted before. I haven't fasted from food for 40 days. Like, I haven't done that before, but I fasted from other things for 40 days. And I'm also going to participate in Lent this year and also fast. Again, not from food altogether, but yeah, there's some things that I would have fast from. But it's all in your head as far as why you want to fast from something, like why that thing is important to you. So if you're giving up sweets or you're giving up, meat or whatever, if you think about it, when you fast from it, the first like maybe week or maybe like 2 weeks is hard, especially like if you're missing out, because I feel like that's the time when, if you're fasting from like sweets, right, that's when all the cookies are in the bakery, or you're smelling like brownies, or somebody from your job brings like donuts or something. Like, it's always that. It's always a mind game. But if you think about the importance of why you're fasting, it makes it a lot easier. And especially if you're doing your devotionals and you're carving out meditation time to remember and to reflect on why you're fasting, it makes it so much easier. So that's my little spiel, you guys. This is how the entire spread turned out. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.